Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
I can tell in 24 hours if I made a mistake on this guy. 24 fucking hours. I fired guys, hired them at 8 o'clock in the morning, fired them at 11 o'clock in the morning. If the first day at work, first of all, if he's not there 2 hours early, if he takes a break, he goes to lunch, he goes to dinner, or he has a cup of coffee, he's fired. That's it. No ands, ifs, or buts. I know what it is to be a world-class salesman, because I am. Now, he is not as hammer-closed as I am, but he's in my quadrant. In my quadrant. And I wasn't chairman then. But both Dan and Jason said this guy is a fucking firecracker. And he's turned out to be a fucking firecracker. But this worldwide $1 trillion, I'm not here for the rest of my life, you know. I'm there till the first exit. And then when we replaced the old chairman, because he wasn't making as much progress as he should. Because he'd do something, you know, it's like the kid hits 2 home runs in cricket. He hits a century during the match. He hits a century, 100, right? There are guys that hit 2 centuries, 3 centuries, right? Well, then you could have done better. Of course, in Britain, if you hit a century, they suck your ass all the way back and forth from the pub into the airport. I mean, but people do hit more than a century. That guy that saved the Brits in cricket, Coke or Woke, or that got all the tattoos all over his face, all over his arms. He was the hero of against Pakistan or India a few months ago. Stokes, big fucking deal. Why can't you do that every game, every match, every series? Okay, so he's going to have a hard time. That's number one. Number two, he has stepped away from the day-to-day management other than sales, which he's still involved in. He has a lot of gray hair. He never had that strategy meeting that he talked about. Because, you know, the last fucking thing he needs is strategy. But even the best old guys all want to get together because they've got nothing to do and all day to do it. And nobody likes to sit back with a drink or a cup of tea better than a Brit, a retired Brit. Nobody. I keep looking at you because, you know, you're not retired, but you're... So they want, you know, and that's the way the game's played. They go to the club. When I first got here in 81, I didn't even know what the fuck that meant. We'll go to my club for lunch. Okay, sounded good. You know, now I know what it means, right? Because I have a club too. But you can shove things through quicker. He had that baby. He's averaging about an acquisition every 3 weeks. He could do faster, but as he said at the beginning, but you got to run the fuckers. And it's not easy. It's not easy to run them because you're dealing with, you know, dozens and dozens and hundreds of personalities, etc. And it's not easy, but he's doing a good job. That one time that he showed where he showed a meeting in his T-shirt, he was really tired. And so I told him that, you know, because that's not the presence that you suck these guys into the vortex. Now it's easier because he's not shaking everybody's hand. So I expect him to double or triple his output the Corona year. If you did this pre-Corona, you can do 2 or 3 times as much. And right now, the mindset of the people is everybody's slowing down instead of speeding up as they should. And guess what? If everybody you talk to out there, well, it's slowing down, guess what? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and everything slows down. But it should speed up. And that's why we're closing deals quicker now in the Corona era than we did pre-Corona, because I've got my foot up their ass, calling them cunt and trying to demean them the best I know how. And I know how to demean people pretty well. I'm pretty expert at it. But this is not a time to slow down. This is a time to speed up. I mean, you want more RPMs, not less RPMs. Okay, comments about Thomas. Yes, sir.
Most impressive guy I've seen to date.
Huh?
The most impressive guy of all of the webinars we've seen.
He's not the top of my batting order, but I mean, he's certainly one of the top of my batting order. He's very good. There's no question about it. Now, I'm not going to ask you how many relate to him. I don't ask you about him because I know the answer. I know the answer. So I know when to ask. And he's a psycho. He's a fucking psycho. There's no question. But he reminds me of me. And he doesn't take no for an answer. The key to selling, only one key. Don't take no for an answer. Ever. Now that sounds pretty braggadocious, pretty fucked up, right? And you're thinking there are times when, no, there isn't. If you have the mindset that there is a proper time for a no, then guess what? You're going to get a lot of fucking no's. Or you'll be more readily accept the no's. I didn't have a 94.6% closing ratio because I accepted no's. I mean, you either left in a fucking stretcher, in a box, or bought. And he's not at that end, but he's pretty close to that end. So, I mean, what is it that we can change about the situation so it would make you say yes? Remember I told you about that earlier? Same thing with a bank. And about 50% of the time you can turn the bank. You can, as they used to say, you can flip them. But I like flipping Bible thumpers. That's my specialty. You give me a fucking strong, zealot Bible thumper, I'll show you a good, strong QLA candidate. Not because of the fact that he believes in a deity, but because he's got the zealot in him. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the zealot. And when the people come and sell Bibles, the people still sell Bibles door to door and shit like that, give Bibles? No? Because of Corona? Well, nobody ever comes here anyway. But I mean, in the old days, people used to come to your door and sell shit, then they dress up in a suit. And, okay. And a lot of people are abusive to those people in the old days that used to come door to door, right? Well, I mean, if you can take that abuse door to door, you can fucking do QLA for sure. Lucinda Burke sold knives door to door. Knives. Okay. Any other comments about Thomas?
He was able to sell his vision with such clarity. The board members didn't care about what their stake was.
And the truth of the matter, it wasn't that clear. But if you tell people it's clear, guess what? They think it's clear. I'm still not sure what his vision is. But I do know I'm going to show you a good time, sweetheart. Don't worry about the details. That's what I equate it to. Well, I got to be home by, 11, schmevin, we're getting in this plane, I got to be home for, no, don't worry about it. We're going to have fun up there. And guess what? They get in the fucking plane. There's 2 or 3 kind of regrets I have of girls that I was not nice to. Not rape or anything like that, but I'd like to go back and part of the reason I went to my 50th year reunion a few years ago is I thought they would be there. But they weren't. I was going to say that I was sorry because one of the staples or principles or precepts of the book by Dr. Salk about raising kids, that my mother found the book in 1946, the year after I was born, and he wrote a book that sold 55 million copies, was you have to raise your children never using the word no. Now, for those of you, have kids, how in the fuck do you raise a child never saying no? I used to like to go to the plugs and stick my fucking tongue in the electric plugs. Now, now they got caps and shit that you put over the plugs, right? But how do you raise a kid not using the word no? There are ways, okay? And there are templates for that. and you reframe it, rephrase it. But when the girls at my 50-year reunion were meeting Sally, they said that Dan never knew the word no. He didn't know what the word no meant. And to this day, no is not no. No is I haven't given you enough information. That's what no to me is. And Bruce the Whipple would tell you, 17 no's to get a yes. 17. Some of you have never made 17 presentations. Forget it. I'm being smart ass now. Some of you haven't given 17 presentations in your whole sales career, let alone the one prospect. 17 no's to get a yes. Now you cut that in half if you're good. And if you're super good, you cut that again in half. But even I got 2 or 3 no's. But I mean, it just went in one ear, and some people say, because they got nothing in it, it just went out the other ear. I didn't pay attention. I didn't give a shit. And he's not at that end of the continuum, but he's close to that end of the continuum. And the little shit is, and I don't mean little shit in a demeaning way, because he's not a big guy. But I mean, he's doing fucking terrific. I mean, it's better than terrific. I don't know, whatever word is, I don't like to use the word awesome. That I just, when I hear that, I just want to punch their teeth in. But he's doing awesome. What else about Thomas? Yes, sir.
Keep closing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, I didn't have to have closed 3 times. But it's good for the close 3 times. Close every time you get in Texas, every time you get a hold of them. They can't say hold it. Every time I got a hold of the fucker, I closed them again. So, now once you do it, now he didn't have to close anybody now over because he's done a bunch of deals. And we've gotten a distribution check, myself included. I told him, normally when I'm chairman, and I took over chairman late. He's already in the game 6 months or so. I don't want any money. You spread it out amongst the other directors. But I got one anyway. And Sally said, what do we do with this? And it's Canadian dollars. Made out to the wrong person. I haven't even told him that part. Came out the wrong. So we'll frame it. And speaking of frame, we'll frame it to show my appreciation. But this is not him. What does it say in that signature block? I got government money, didn't ask for any. Daniel Stephen Peña Sr., rich guy, didn't ask for a dime. So we framed the check with his signature forevermore. But I got a check from Thomas, and I get checks from the kids' distribution, even though I tell them I don't want any. But the world's fucked up when they send me a check. It's $1,200. It's nothing. It's about, I don't know why I got it. But I didn't collect Social Security. You can collect Social Security in America. Early collection, that's your retirement plan that you put money into, at 55, 57, 59, then 60, then 62, then 65. I didn't collect any money. I didn't start collecting my Social Security till I was about 70. So the last 5 years. But they shouldn't send out checks. I would have let everybody go down. I'd let the banks go down, the airlines go down, the cruise lines for sure go down. Here they don't pay any taxes in America, and the American government's giving the cruise lines money. They all are headquartered in Panama. And yet the American government is giving them money. There's something not right with that. But I wouldn't, we're only prolonging the death roll by sending out checks to people. Okay, what else about Thomas? Yes, sir.
It was well organized through the day.
Oh, yeah, he's he really is. He really is. So right now he's at the top of the heap of the kids. at the top. He's not the biggest, he's not the most successful, but he is the most articulate that he can convey his message. For sure, he's that, of the current crop. The only one that's probably, the only few guys that are smoother than he is, Bruce Whipple's smoother than he is, because Bruce has been doing this 30, 35 years. That's why Bruce is smoother, not taking anything away from Bruce. There's 3 or 4 guys that are smoother than he is. But, I mean, you don't even have to be 25% as smooth as he is to make this work. But he's got a big vision. As he was talking about the crypto, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know anything about that. You know, crypto, fucto, whipto, I don't know. I don't know. But if he can play to that song and that makes that's fine. If he likes the beat of that drummer, God bless him. You know, God, but he uses bad words for a thumper. Now, the people that knew him before said he wouldn't say shit if it was in his mouth before he met you, Dan. But I like to flip thumpers, and I like him to say, fuck, cunt, shit, in front of their mother. Then I know I got him. Then I know I got him. No offense, moms. Because you don't say fuck, cunt, shit in front of your mother for a different reason. You call it respect. Some of you might call it love, right? But that's not the reason. It's because somebody told you. My dad never told me I couldn't say fuck, cunt, shit before in front of mom. I.e., and how's my program worked out as opposed to your program? We have some teetotalers in the group. Great. God bless you. I'll be with you. Alcohol doesn't get deals done. But there are parts in the world, if a man can't have a goddamn drink with me, I don't trust a cocksucker. That still exists today. They may not tell you that because it's not politically correct, but they think it. And we're not talking about our Muslim brothers either. A goddamn man can't have a drink and a fuck with me and going to a whorehouse. I drink and a fuck, I don't trust a son bitch. Today, 2020. Now, I'm not advocating that, but that was never my problem. Because not having a drink or fornicating around. But, see, you don't know what they think. And in that regard, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you're not a whoremonger drinker, send 1 or 2 of your board members that are whoremonger drinkers. Because you'll have some. Absolutely. And that's the real reason they want to have meetings. Because they got nothing to do and all day to do it in. I have never had a guy turn me down in almost 50 years for a meeting in Las Vegas. Never. Even if they couldn't afford the ticket to go there. I wonder why. Never once. Because it is the home of debauchery. I've never had anybody, our board loved me because we were public on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange. And they would rather have meetings in Amsterdam than London for a lot of obvious reasons. I never had one board member. I had guys, when they really got old towards the end, in Zimmer frames, coming to fucking meetings in Amsterdam. Because if you can't have a good time in Amsterdam, it's because you don't have a dick. And of course, it's got a lot of other nice things too, the canals and all that bullshit. But anyway, anything else about Thomas? Yes, sir, in the back.
He has no scrutiny to go for the top players?
No, yeah, that's right. In fact, he's upgraded his board since that conversation. He's upgraded. And part of the upgrade is because, I don't know, but my influence, I don't think, maybe because of my influence, but it was my influence. If you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, and he's learned how to push the Canadian buttons, as Sally would say. And the Canadians know how to push the Canadians' buttons better than most people because they're there. Yes, they're in the back.
Did he get the majority of board members from LinkedIn?
Yeah. LinkedIn. Because he didn't go to any fancy school, no alumni, no anything like that. LinkedIn is, I don't know, I only discovered LinkedIn about 5-6 years ago, but it's been around, I think, 8 or 10 years. But it is a tool that was made for us. I mean, it's God Almighty. It was just made for us. It was made for us. And you got to get the premium thing. There's 2 levels. I forget what it. The premium. Yeah. Pardon? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And that costs extra, but I mean, it's no real money. And the guys and gals that are on there are pretty open. Pretty open. Anything else about Thomas? Any questions on how he does things? Okay. Thank you, YouTube.